All right, we're live. Hi, David. Welcome to everybody who's watching. This is the Omni IQ workshop. And I'm really excited to be here with you, David, and hear out of your words how you would demo Omni IQ. I know I've done a few video demos on YouTube, but not of the newest features. So I'm really excited to hear you talk about it and take any questions from the audience. I'll be here to facilitate and help make sure you see those questions, but also, ask and probe any questions where I think you might have forgotten anything on Omni IQ, which I'm sure you wouldn't, but let's go ahead
Sounds
and get
good.
into it. What do you think?
All right, awesome. Thanks, Jesse. Yeah, so we're gonna do a little walkthrough Omni IQ today. Give everybody a chance to see the free features that we have, and obviously see the different types of things that you can do with it and the power of it. And we're gonna just kind of walk through it and see what happens. So first off, I'm logged in, and one of the first things it does is kind of gives you a little step-by-step of what to do. Step one, upload a list. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do that.
So what kind of lists would people be uploading, David?
Yeah, well, in this case, uploading a list is typically a list of the customers that you're looking to try to reach. So in other words, existing customers that you have that are really your best customers, that you're ultimately trying to either find more information about them, learn more about them, or ultimately find new customers just like them. And so we're going to walk through a couple of things you can do. One, looking at that list and being able to analyze it and get some demographics about it, and all of that comes free. And then in addition to that, being able to actually retrieve some demographics and download it and add it into your CRM, enrich your existing data so that you can learn more about your existing customers, target them better, use that information to, whether it's, targeting your list, segmenting your list by certain information, demographics, and things like that. You name it. And then we'll take it a step further and say, okay, well, what if I find the exact people that I'm trying to reach? How do I find more of those people, right? And so that'll be about building an expanded audience. And we'll walk through that as well. And so the first thing we'll do is just upload our lists, right? So here we are. We have a list of let's call it email addresses or hashed email addresses, mobile IDs, or even names and addresses that you might have. And you want to get that list into the data clean room, upload it, and learn more about these customers. So first off, you can either drag and drop your file right into here, or in my case, I'm going to click on it and I'm going to pick my file. And so in this case, I'm going to pick a file that I've already uploaded just so that I can show you how I did it. And so now it pulled that information into here. It's maybe a little hard to read there, but then it separated it and it said, okay, this is what I see. I see that you have this sequence ID. I have some sort of CCID. It doesn't really matter what your different fields are. Here's an email address and an email MD5. So you can literally go here and say, yeah, I have a header row. So I'm going to ignore that first row. And in this case, I chose that I'm uploading email addresses. And so I can actually go into the next screen.
Do that, David. Could you tell people a little bit about the radio dials where they can choose, what the different options between email and why, if they have all this data, why might they want to choose an MD5 or a MAID or an email?
Yeah, I mean, in this case, it's all about what you have, right? So if you have an email address or you have a hashed email address, sometimes you don't have the original email address, right? You just have a hash version. That's okay. We can, once it gets into the platform, we can match it against those consumers. Same thing with a mobile ID. So you really can choose whichever ID you actually have available to you. And the other interesting thing that we'll show you is maybe you have email address, but you're looking to get mobile IDs, or you have PII and you're looking to get the email addresses. Doesn't matter. We'll actually be able to show you how you can actually match into any of these IDs and retrieve them as well. So if there's IDs that you have, but you're looking for different ones, we can actually help you match those IDs as well and retrieve them.
That was the point I was trying to get you to make there, was that's what they're going to match on.
Yeah.
Matching is
just about what we're going to match on. But again, you don't need to have all of them. You can have any one of them. And so once I go to the next screen, I can now see it separated out all the fields that I have, and I can literally just drag the email address because it can't always automatically detect which field is which. Sometimes it will, especially if you just have one row. But in this case, I dragged over the email address because that's what I want to match on. And I just click next, and it'll tell you that it's ready. You can then change the name of it. You can add comments here as well, and then just click upload. And so in this case, I'm not going to click that because I've already uploaded this file. So once you click upload, it brings you here, and you can see that your file's uploaded. And in this case, the status will show that it's pending processing. And there's a couple of different levels of status as it processes the data. And once yeah.
So how long does it typically take to upload lists? Like, what should users expect if it is taking, a day and they're wondering what's happening? Could you just give them a little bit of a, idea of what to expect there?
Yeah. So in the case of uploading the file, we're doing a little processing on it, making sure that the file is clean, and that it's formatted properly. And so there is a process of that. And then once it does that, it actually goes in and it matches all those IDs into our platform, does some analysis on it, which you're going to see in the next screens. So it can take a little bit of time depending on the size of your lists. I mean, a small list might only take a few minutes, but a larger list could take up to an hour or two if it's really large, over 1 million or so. And you'll get an email confirmation that your file was uploaded. You'll get an email confirmation that it's processing and when it's ready. And once it is ready, and again, if it's a small list, it could be ready within minutes, you'll get this screen, and the screen will show you that your analytics are ready. It actually shows you a little history. So this actually, for the techies out there, if you want to see what it's actually doing, it's actually going to tell you how it's processing it, so that every step from uploading it, ingesting it, finding records that match, identifying records that are unactionable. And so we'll get into that a little bit, but ultimately an unactionable record could be an ID that's invalid. It's wrong. It's a bad ID. It could be maybe somebody gave you a fake email address or something like that. And so it's going through that process, and then it's going to generate the analytics, save those analytics, export them, and then boom, your list is available. So once that list is available, you can actually click on the analytics page, and you'll see some free analytics. So this is doing just some basic analytics, the percentage of the people in your list that are male and female, their household income, and then also their birth year. And so it gives you a nice little chart.
So this list, what it's telling us that, 1969 is sort of between 1969 and maybe 1953. Like, could you just interpret the list and explain to the marketers out there, what they get from this?
Yeah, I mean, this is showing you the typical age of the people that were uploaded in that list. So obviously there's some outliers, some people that were born, even in the 30s and 40s here. And there's a few that were born, in 1999 or 2000. But the bulk of the people within this list were actually, if you look at it somewhere around here, you're looking at about 1947 to 1971. And so, and it even gives you the frequency, the number of people. And that's really what you're looking at here on this axis here, is the number of people that were in that age group.
And there's not even a credit card required to see this type of data on your first party customer data. I mean, you could do everything that you just did free of charge. Just go to, the Omni IQ app and create an account.
Yeah.
See this, and then the other two charts up at the top, those are all complimentary.
Yep, that's it. Upload lists, and within minutes you have this information. So gives you some insight right off the bat. This happens to be a list where the gender is pretty close to equal. But I did another list earlier where it was 80, 90% male, and so it's it can be really insightful.
Very cool.
And then once you get there, well, then you might say, well, this is really interesting information. I want to have this. I want to own this. I want to connect this gender data or income data or whatever else. There's a whole bunch of other information here: net asset value, occupation, education, employment status, and so on, even names and addresses, if you don't already have that linked to this information. And so you can actually go in here and you can purchase this data. And so like Jesse said, all the analytics itself is free, but if you actually want to bring this into your own platform or into your CRM, that will enable you to do some really interesting segmentation, right, Jesse? You know, when it comes to your marketing campaigns, maybe you shouldn't be emailing everybody on your lists for certain products. And by looking at this, you can tell maybe some products might be better for certain people and different products for other people, and it'll help you segment it. So that this gives you the option then to say, okay, yeah, I want this information. So you might say, okay, I want gender. Let's see, I want income. I want net asset value, whatever it is. And you can actually go there and say, okay, well, I want to add that to the shopping cart. And so now you can see each of the different fields that you added to the shopping cart. In this case, I did what? Gender, income. You can say, okay, I want another one. I'm ready to add those to the shopping cart. And oops, I unclicked that one by accident. PII, maybe you want to get the names and addresses as well. And so you can add it all. And maybe well, in our case, what we uploaded email addresses. So maybe we want to get mobile IDs. And I want to know all the mobile IDs, whether they're Android IDs or Apple IDs, or even the IP addresses connected to them, and add all that to the shopping cart. So now you can see I've added all this to the shopping cart, and here's all the demographic data I added and the total for the demographic data. Here's all the identity data that I added and that total and my grand total. And so I can say, okay, I'm going to go to the shopping cart, add that all. And now when I go to the shopping cart page, I can see all the items that I have, remove any that I don't want to add, or go to checkout. And one note here is that you'll notice that typically our minimum purchase, I think, is what? Normally only $100, I think. Mm-hmm. But in the case when you're purchasing PII, actual names and addresses, there is a higher minimum. It does require a $2,500 minimum. In this case, my total is $1,300. Now, if this data is really valuable to me and I really need it, I can make that purchase, but the minimum order is $2,500. So it's essentially telling you that you can buy all this data, or you can add more to it at any time if you wanted it as well. Or I can just check out now and purchase it for that minimum. But at this point, I might say, okay, well, if I have to pay $2,500, maybe I'll go back and add some additional data to it. So I can, whoops, I didn't realize I was going to open a new screen. There we go. Okay, so I can go back to that list and say, well, I'm going to, I want to also add the employment status, or education level, which we didn't add the first time. And now we're going to add that to the shopping cart. So now I've added all that to the cart, and I can go ahead and check it out. So now my total is still $2,500, but I've added additional data to it.
Now, what if you didn't want to add it up to 2,500 and you wanted to stick to closer to the 100? Then you just have to remove the PII.
Yeah. So at any point in time, you can just say, okay, you know what? The PII part is the part that's causing me to pay more. I don't need that. So I'm going to X that out. And now I'm going to check out. And then you get your payment page, enter your payment information, and boom. Once you pay, now there's a bunch of processing that has to happen in order to get this data to you. So now that you've completed the checkout, it's actually going to take all these different data assets that you chose and attach it to your original file. So there's a little processing that will go on in the background. You'll get an email that will actually tell you when your file is ready. And once it's ready, you'll be able to come right in here and download it. And so that'll direct you to log back in and download that file.
That's awesome.
All right. So that is basically everything about uploading your CSV, seeing your analytics, the free analytics that come with it, and purchasing any data that you might want to purchase to attach to your original CSV file. So that's really the first step.
Great.
And so now did you have something, Jesse?
I was going to say, so we've cleaned, we've enriched, and we have a really great customer list. So now what can we do to expand it?
Yeah. So now the next thing might be to expand your audience. So let's say, for example, okay, well, I've done the analysis on that file. It's really interesting to me. Those are my best customers. I want to find more of them. how do I go and I find more of those customers? And so there's the next step is expanding that list. And so you can actually do this two ways. One, you can just have this as your positive list. And so typically when you're using machine learning, it can run one of two ways, where you have both a positive and a negative list, or just your positive list. And obviously, I don't know if it's obvious, but when you have both a positive and negative lists, it actually helps the machine learning learn a little more efficiently. And so by explanation, your positive list is your best customers. Those are the people that you're trying to reach, or the people that have bought a certain type of product and you want to find more people that are likely to buy that product. The negative list would be the opposite of that, people that didn't buy that product. And so if you happen to have that list, using both a positive and negative list will actually improve the performance and the ultimate output of your audience. In this case, I don't have one, so I'm just going to use my positive list as that file that I uploaded. And so when I click that as use positive, it moves on down and gives me the ability to name this audience. In this case, I'm not going to add anything, or I can just say this is live test audience. Okay. Any comments I want to put in here might be specific to you and your product. These are just notes for you. And then once you do that, it's going to come all the way down here and it's going to show you, okay, here's your positive list, here's your negative. In this case, we didn't choose a negative, and you click create the audience. And once you create that click create that audience, it starts processing. Now this process can take a matter of hours, again, depending on the size of your list. There's a lot of work that's being done here. We actually do an analysis. Our machine learning algorithms look at not just those few different demographics that we showed in the charts, but a lot more detailed analysis goes into this, where we're looking at about anywhere up to 20 different attributes linked to that consumer and all those consumers in there. And once you do that, and it's completed, the status here will say that it's complete, or it's been fully processed. You then have your expanded audience here. And so now we can look at that expanded audience and we can see, wow, I expanded that list of 5,000 people that I uploaded, or 6,000 people that I uploaded, to 53 million consumers. And so I can literally then take that audience of 53 million consumers, and we can, if you want, we can even segment it further. Now, in the current version of Omni IQ, that is the completion of the segmentation. This again goes back to looking at your analytics. But if you wanted to further expand it, you could upgrade, and the upgrade will allow you to then not just expand that list, but segment it, for example, based on geo. So let's just say you were trying to just reach people on the East Coast. Well, obviously, it's not going to be that full 53 million people in the list. This is all throughout the US. So if you wanted to segment that to just the East Coast, or just one state or a region, we can do that. It's an additional upgrade. And once we do that, that list might break down to 5 million people. And once that list is complete, we can then activate that. And so you can actually activate that audience with any of our activation partners. Currently, that is a process that requires your account manager to activate it for you. In the coming months, we'll be making it so that you can literally just click on your activation partner and add in your account ID or seat ID where you want that data to get pushed. Once we push that to your activation platform, you can then run any of your regular advertising or media campaigns against that audience. And the amazing thing about this is that we've done a number of tests with customers, large and small, and seen amazing results, anywhere from as much as 25% to as much as 50% increase in performance, increase in return on ad spend for those that used these custom audiences that are built based on your first party data using machine learning. And so that's the beauty and amazing thing about what we're doing here, is really just helping companies just like you to improve your return on ad spend.
Great stuff, David. Hey, I see you have the pricing page tab open. Do you want to explain some of the packages?
Yeah, perfect. I'm glad you brought that up. So as we talked about, the analytics only version is free. You don't even need to enter in a credit card. You can just create an account and start using it. And with that is included all your analytics, even use of the data clean room, even doing the machine learning that we just did that will allow you to actually see your audience. But if you want to start using that expanded audience, you do need to then upgrade into one of our additional packages. And so that would be the starter package, for example, which starts at only $250 a month. But that gives you the ability to build at least 5 audiences per month. It also gives you a 10% discount on any records that you purchase in the the data attributes that we showed you how you can purchase and download them. And then it also gives you the ability to then activate your audiences. And so you can go anywhere up to $500 a month or $2,500 a month, which just gives you really more access to more audiences per month and bigger discounts. And the more that you do with Omni IQ, the bigger the discounts that you can get. And so that's the key moving forward into each of the different packages. And obviously the ability to build more audiences, attach more data to your existing audiences, and activate more audiences as well.
Awesome. So if someone wanted to get started with the $250 per month plan today, what would they need to do?
Yeah, so right now I'd say the first thing to do is sign up for your free account. And then, once you're in there, there's a few things that you can do. I mean, ultimately you're going to want to use go to the upgrade feature. And so there's a couple of ways that you can do that. One, you can literally just click feedback and contact anyone at any time. But also on your list page, where you can see all the data that you can purchase, there's an upgrade link there as well. And so you can click upgrade. And once you do that, it does actually bring you to a form where you can contact us. And you will actually, whoops, where is that? Oh, it brings us here. Oh, I guess you need to click the learn more page. I think we changed that. Oh, yep, you need to talk to an expert. And so once you talk to an expert, there's the link. And you'll be able to contact us, and an account manager will contact you and talk to you about the different options and try to help you figure out what is the best option for you.
Absolutely. I also just put the email down there. If you ever just want to email us, that goes to the sales team. So the account managers will see it there as well.
Yep.
Well, this was all really great. And I know we only have 4 minutes left, David. So for people who are not as familiar with BDEX, could you just spend a couple minutes and telling them about our data? So when they go to match and, say they have a lot of B2B data, what might they see? And, what is the real value that our data provides?
Yeah, one of the important things to know about BDEX is, besides the fact that we are almost a 9-year-old company, started in 2014, the data that comes into the BDEX platform is actually coming in from about 100 different data sources. So we're not reliant on any one data source. We do a lot of work to analyze that data when it comes in and clean that data up, remove IDs that we deem to be unactionable, and that could be fraudulent IDs that come from things like bots and click farms. And so when you're building an audience or when you're acquiring data linked to your existing customers through that uploaded file, you can always be sure that the data that you're getting through BDEX is data that has linked to real people. No bots, no click farms, nothing like that. We actually have a 100% guarantee against ad fraud linked IDs in any of our data. And so when you build an audience with us and we push that audience to activate for you, you know that you're targeting real people. And I think that that's an important thing to recognize about working with BDEX.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for the demo, David.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Jesse. And I hope everybody was able to get something out of this. And again, if you have any further questions about Omni IQ, please reach out, contact us. We're happy to help.
Absolutely. All right. Well, everyone have a great week. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.